Oh no, turn this off because it's not enough bandwidth. I have Tony here, so she's sitting right next to me. I'm like, you might as well just come on the screen with me and not start. Anyway, so what was I gonna say? So it is June, and Luke's here too. He wanted me to let you guys know. So it is June 6th. And I'm so excited for tonight's call. I have Jenn. You know, when I met Jenn at the New Leadership Conference, she was my buddy. We sat next to each other. And I was just, you know, I just thought she was absolutely the sweetest. So before I announce her and before I let her take over our call, you know, make sure you have a pen and some note paper. She's going to be sharing with us her top 10 tips. You know, and this is a girl you want to be listening to when I start telling you what, you know, just her success and where she's been through. But anyway, so it is June 6th and it's a brand new month. We're right in the beginning, you know, fresh slate for a lot of us, kind of pushing for our goals for this month, knowing that this month on sale, we have our best program, you know, on sale, our most popular 21-Day Fix and 21-Day Fix Extreme with Shakeology for $140. And then obviously with the Kickstart for $180. This week, you'll notice that next Monday, we're going to start our sneak peek, our team-wide sneak peek. So make sure that you are promoting for that throughout the course of this week. It will be next Monday to Thursday, and then next Thursday will be our coaching and webinar. So just kind of keeping the note of that and put it in your calendar so that you're reminded this whole week you're promoting for a sneak peek, in addition to obviously always also intermittently promoting for your challenge group as well. So just kind of that reminder. So before, I don't want to take up too much of your time because I actually want to leave time for questions. So again, right, you know, if you have any questions at the end, you know, put them in the messenger as we always do, or if you want to just ask her directly, that'll be awesome. So I have Jenn Wall here. Jenn Wall is a success. She is a 6-star elite coach, 2015 elite coach. She has now. Have you hit 2 years yet, Jenn, as a coach? Or
I just had my 2-year anniversary at the beginning of May, so I didn't do much for the first little bit.
Okay, so you know, she's about to be, you know, she just hit her 2-year mark. She's been 22 months in Success Club. She is a mom, she's a wife, and she is a full-time coach now. She just recently, you know, went full-time. And one thing that I think is really interesting, and for those who kind of just in terms of just kind of points, she has come in, you know, in terms of Team Cup, for those of us that know what Team Cup is, who've gone through Team Cup, her and her team have consistently placed in the top 10 4 times in the Team Cup. That's really impressive because that's a collective, you know, community effort, you know, for that team. Also, but she is someone who leads with her heart. You know, I think her personality speaks to a lot of the personality of this team. And so that's why I really wanted to invite her on, just so that you can see kind of her personality and how she kind of communicates and what she has to say. I mean, this is a woman who last month hit like it was like Success Club 80. This girl, you know, hit Success Club 80 last month. So definitely, like I said, someone that if you have questions about what she's doing, this is who you need to be asking questions to. And like, she's a mom, she's a mom, and she's just like all, you know, like many of you, who is just someone on a mission, right? To help more people, to help as many people, and to see her team succeed. All right, Jenn. So with that said, I'm gonna let you take over.
Awesome, thank you. It's nice to meet all you guys. So I know that a lot of you guys on this team are healthcare professionals, or sort of like that's like your thing. So I can totally relate to that. I was a full-time pharmacist, so I know how doing this business and trying to have another job kind of feels like my job's on the side. I totally know how that is, trying to fit Beachbody in all in the nooks and crannies of your day. So I totally get that. So thank you for having me on the call tonight. Oh my goodness, I think I was like a silent creeper of Stephanie for a while. I don't even know how it really happened. Somehow on Instagram we connected and I started following her and the ER doctor, and I just thought it was really, really cool that there was somebody else in the medical like field that was doing this and doing their job, because I felt like I was the only one trying to have a professional job and wasn't just a stay-at-home mom, but I actually had this like career that I didn't want to leave, but I still wanted to do Beachbody. So I found Stephanie early on when I was a coach, and I know I followed her, and I was like, oh my God, she's doing it, and she's like a medical student and an ER doctor, and I just thought it was amazing. And for those of you guys that are new coaches and you follow coaches online, and we're coming up to Summit, and you see those coaches, don't be like me, because I saw Stephanie at a Super Saturday. She went to GoPro in Vegas, and I was there, and I saw her there, and I was like, oh my God, it's Stephanie, CR doctor. And I totally didn't go up and say hi. And I wish that I had, but I had that like anxiety and that shyness. So don't be like that. At Summit, go and like just talk to people. We're all real normal people, and we've all been there. So just go up and say hi. Don't like kick yourself as you're walking out the door that you didn't just go say hi. So that's just my little 2 cents before we get started. So I was super happy to actually meet Stephanie at New Leadership, and we chatted, and we had lots in common. So I'm going to jump right into it. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to share my tips with you guys. So can you guys all see that? I'm going to make it go bigger. Can you guys all see that? Yes. So my PowerPoint skills are not the greatest. So slides are like my nemesis. You guys are lucky that I got some slides. Usually I just like talk. So I'm going to give you guys my tips tonight, and I am all about keeping it simple. I don't like to try and overcomplicate things. I think we got enough of that in our life, and I try to just keep it as simple as possible. So a little bit about me. Like Stephanie said, I'm a mom. I've been married for 7 years. We've got 2 kids, James and Anna. They are like the funniest, most energetic kids ever. They are still up, so if we have some visitors, we'll just kind of roll with that. Like I said, I was a full-time pharmacist, and I did Beachbody workouts. I started them back in 2007, and I started back off with like Slim in 6. That was the first one I did. I love that program, and then I just became like a serial Beachbody program person, and I would complete like a 30 or 60-day program, and then I would order another one, and then I would do another one, and I just love being able to work out from home. And I did that for like 3 or 4 years, and I had no idea that there was anything more that you could do. I didn't know that you could get a discount. I didn't know that you could help people or pay it forward. I just thought it was this really cool infomercial thing that I could work out at home, and I didn't have to go to a gym and wander around and like look at all these machines and feel kind of like I had no idea what I was doing. I just love being able to work out from home. It wasn't until my daughter was born that I was up one night with her, and I was scrolling through Facebook at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I saw this post, and it was talking about these trainers and being able to help people and working from home and being able to spend more time with your family. And that really connected with me because I had 2 kids, and I was home on our maternity leave. And I thought, wow, wouldn't it be cool to not have to go back to work full time, to be able to have something to supplement my income. And I know a lot of you guys are in like the healthcare field, so you know what it's like to work crazy hours and long hours. When I was a pharmacist, I worked 10-hour days so that I could get my 40-hour week in 4 days instead of like spread out over the week. So I had that extra day. And I loved that until I had kids and until I found Beachbody. Once I went back to work after my mat leave, and I went back to those 10-hour days, it was just like way too much for me. I had no idea how I was going to do that long term. Like, how was I going to be in a rush every morning and be at work, missing my kids all day and coming home just in time to put them to bed? And I just felt like that couldn't be what was like, that couldn't be all there was for our family. There had to be something more than that. Like, why did I have this amazing family and then only get to put them to bed at night? So that's when I really started to look at Beachbody as something more, something that could replace my pharmacy income so that I could be home with them. And that's when I really decided to go all in. So I became a coach in May 2014. So I just had my 2-year coach anniversary, but it wasn't until I went back to work, and that was in September of 2015. That's when I decided to go like all in. And I sat down with my husband, and he was like, you know what, let's go for it. Let's give it 2 years and like see what you can do. And in that very first year, I was an Emerald coach in January. I ended the year as a 5-star elite diamond. And I just was like super determined, super disciplined. I made absolutely no excuses, and I just got it done. When I started, I had like less than 50 friends on Facebook. I had just gone through my Facebook list and like erased all these people that I was like, I never talked to you in 2 years. I never talked to you in 2 years. And all I ever posted about was like, hey, Anna's 5 months old. Now she's 6 months old. Like, I didn't have a huge following on Facebook. I still don't even get Instagram. Don't get me started on that. Stephanie's amazing on it. I don't know what's happening over there. But I had no network marketing experience, but I learned it all. I just figured I could learn it. All these other people could do it. If they can do it, so can I. And that's sort of what I use to get me going. So I'm going to jump into it. I feel like I talked about myself enough there. So my first tip is to commit 100% to a program. And I really found that makes a huge difference in myself and in my coaches. I know when I'm like in between programs and I'm like just playing around, I'm like, I'll do some bio and I'll do some of this and I'll do some of that. You don't treat it the same way. You don't get the same results and you don't treat it the same way. You really like skip the cardio days you don't like or the leg days that you don't like. And you pick the programs that you like to do. It's the same thing with your business. You can't pick and choose what you want to do. You kind of have to like follow the program and commit to it. And you need to show up every day and do the vital behaviors every single day. You can't just decide that you're not going to do personal development today. You're going to do it maybe tomorrow. Or you're not going to do any inviting for the next 3 days, but you'll do a big, huge invite follow-up like on Thursday. You need to show up. You need to do your program from start to finish. You need to follow your meal plan. You need to follow the schedule and just commit 100% to a program. That's how you get your results, and that's how your business works. So I think the two go together really well. I find that coaches that have committed 100% to their program see way more results in their business than they do that coaches that kind of waver with the program and they aren't all in. I find that's how you get amazing results. That's going to give you tons of content to post about because you are doing a workout every day. You're drinking your Shakeology. You've got 3 meals, 2 snacks that you can post about. You've got your personal development, and then you've got something that you can recognize. So if you are simply committing to a program, you've got content to post about. And I know that's a big thing for coaches. They're like, well, what do I post about? I'm like, if you're doing your program, you have tons of things to post about, and then throw some of your life in there as well. Some of the non-beach body things. And that's how you're going to get results. And then that's how you develop trust with people, because we're asking people to commit to a program. If they want to get results, they need to commit to it. And if they don't see that we're doing that, how do you ask them to do it as well? How do you say, well, you should be doing your workout every day, and you should be following the meal plan, and you should be drinking your Shakeology if you aren't that proof of the product, if you aren't doing it yourself? So that's one thing that I think that I do really well is I commit to programs and I share my journey from day one right through till the end. So that is the first one. The second one is to get outside of your comfort zone. I think so many people, when they get started as coaches, and even when you've been a coach for a long time, you kind of get into this comfort zone and you're like, okay, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with inviting. I'm okay with this. But there's still stuff that's like outside your comfort zone that you don't want to do. Maybe it's with all these new Facebook changes and it's about going live and you're like, oh, I just don't want to do it. I'll just make a video and I'll post it. But going live is so much more engaging with your challengers. I've started going live in my challenge groups and they absolutely love it. I've started going live in my coaching groups for Q&A, my new coach training, and it's just getting outside of your comfort zone. I think so many people are afraid to just get out of there because they just feel safe and they're worried about all these things that might happen. Like, what if this happens? And what if that happens? And what if this happens? And 99% of all these things that we think might happen, they're never going to happen. And even if they do, you know what? It's not that bad. You just roll with it and you keep going. So for me, some of the things that I've been through, I am like super shy. You probably don't know that, but I am really shy. I hate public speaking. And I remember the first time I was asked to speak at a Super Saturday and I just about had like an anxiety attack. I was almost sick. And this is me. My husband took a picture of me while I was like trying to figure out what the heck I was going to say. And I was so afraid to do the Super Saturday. And there was like maybe 150 people at our Super Saturday. And I was like nervous. I was scared sick. But I got up there and I did it. And then from that, so many things have sort of spawned from just that, doing that one thing, getting outside your comfort zone. I've gone on from there. I've gone on to do Super Saturday videos. I spoke at leadership. I just did a national wake up call. I'm speaking at Summit. those are all things that I never ever would have done if I had said no to that very first Super Saturday. If I had said, no, I can't do it, I'm too scared. And if I hadn't got outside of my comfort zone. Because the more you do it and the more you do those things that scare you, the better you get at it and the less scary that it gets. Stephanie will probably tell you I was pretty nervous before I went up. I'm like, ooh. And I post about my mistakes. So down here at the bottom, this is kind of funny. I did a What is Beachbody Coaching webinar, and I kind of threw like a last minute thing together and I posted it. And after I posted it, I realized I spelt webinar wrong. But you know what? I don't care. I posted it out there. I had 4 more people join the call that night and 2 of them became coaches. So I was like, who cares if I spelt it wrong? I was able to go back and fix it so it's right for next time. But don't be afraid to make mistakes. I mean, a couple of people mentioned that I spelled it wrong, but I was like, oh, well, whatever. Jump on the call tonight. So just kind of roll with it, and then you can fix it and you can make it better. So don't worry about mistakes. That's kind of a mistake that I learned from, and it made me better, and it wasn't really a huge deal in the end. And then the very first time that I went live, that's what this kind of like video thing is here, I went live, and I showed people different ways that you could do pull-ups. And in the middle of me doing my live thing, my phone decided it needed to do a Facebook cleaning, and I have no idea what that is, but it totally shut down. My husband's like, I don't know what's happening, but it's not broadcasting anymore. So then we had to shut down the phone and then restart it. And then I finished with my presentation going live. And, I could have crawled in a hole and be like, oh my God, this is so embarrassing. I was live and this thing happened. But I just jumped back on. I was like, hey, I'm back again. So just get outside of your comfort zone. I mean, sometimes bad things happen, but you can just grow with it and you can learn from it, and it'll make you better for next time. My next one is all about inviting. It is a vital behavior. If you aren't inviting, your business isn't thriving. So you need to be doing invites. And I'm not talking about hey, join my challenge group. Hey, join my sneak peek. It doesn't have to be posts like that, like the right hook all the time. You can have jabs all the time. I'm constantly jabbing, and I am messaging with the people that comment and like on my posts, and I have a lot of behind the scene conversations. So you won't see on my page a ton of join my challenge groups. I post them maybe twice a month, and I'll do a sneak peek once a month, but I'm having a lot of behind the scene conversations with people. So your jabs can be anything. I shared the heck out of my 22-minute hardcore journey. I shared all the ups, all the downs. I pretty much invited with every single post that I did for those 2 months while I was doing that program. And then we went on the Success Club cruise, and we had no Wi-Fi. It was a bit of a hot mess for a while. 6,000 Beachbody coaches on one boat. There was not enough Wi-Fi. So anyhow, we got to the Bahamas. I had the internet for a whole hot 5 minutes. I took one picture jumping on the beach. I posted it. I was like, hey, I'm having a beach day. And I can't even remember if there was 200 likes on it, and there was 40 comments from that one post. And it was just because I had been doing such a good job journaling and inviting along the way that I sold a ton of challenge packs just for one picture of me jumping on the beach. But I had committed to that program, and I had shared the heck out of it, and I got results from it. So I think it all kind of goes together. I share about gifts that we get. I share about staying tuned for things. You can use all kinds of things to do little jabs. I know Stephanie is really great at that. You can repurpose pictures, and you can use them for sneak peeks, or you can use them for other things that are coming up, or for actual invites later. I like to put little collages together, so maybe I'll put together a couple of my workout pictures and some of the food that I had eaten that week, and then you can put that together into your right hook invite. So make sure you're inviting every single day. You're adding to your network. I know they say add 2 to 3 people. I say add 10 people every single day. Whatever they say to do, 2 or 3, multiply that. Do more than that. If you want to really grow your business quickly, you need to be adding more people, more than just the minimum. Be inviting to your challengers and be inviting to the business. And you need to follow up with people. I would say 90% of my sales come from follow-ups. It's not from the very first contact. It's from following up with them and all those behind-the-scenes messaging. And I like to follow up with people. I personally do it 3 times. So I'll do that initial one, and if they give me any kind of objection, then I try to get a date out of them. So say I'm inviting to, I just finished for my June 13th group, so now I've started for my July 4th group is when my next one starts. So if they give me any kind of objection, or they say, well, I get paid on Friday, I try to get a date out of them so that I can put that date in my calendar and I can follow up with them. And then if you let them know that you're like, I'm going to follow up with you next Thursday, then when you actually follow up with them, it's not like that weird. It's not like you're harassing them. You're like, I told you I was going to follow up, so now I'm following up. If they give me another kind of excuse, like, oh, something happened, and I'll say, okay, well, I've got a lot of people that want in it. I'm going to have to give up your spot. When do you think you could do it? I get another date out of them. I'll follow up with them that third time. And then after that, I just say, you know what? No problem. I run a group every month. When you're ready, I'll help you and we can get started. And I just put it back on them. And then I find that people, they just come back to you later. So I try not to hound people. I give them those 3 follow-ups. And then after that, they're kind of on their own. They're going to follow my journey. And then so many people, even just today, I had someone from 6 months ago and they're like, okay, I'm finally ready. I'm like, okay, all right, let's do this. But it's a lot of following up and just being consistent. So make sure you commit to a program and you are inviting people with your posts every single day. Personal development is so huge. So many people, I think that this is one that people, they kind of forget about. I know it's a vital behavior, but it's so easy to kind of brush off. And I know for me, when I started coaching, there's so much information. When we go to school, we have different classes and we get a curriculum and we do this assignment and that assignment and that assignment and we work through it. And then 4 years later, we get a degree. Coaching is the opposite of that. You become a coach and it is information overload. There's YouTube videos, there's the online office, there's 30 groups that you get dumped into, a challenge group, a training group, a coach group, a PS group. You get put in all these groups and you get all these notifications and it can be totally overwhelming. So for me, when I started, I was really great at doing personal development that was business related. I would watch YouTube videos, or I would be listening to national wake up calls, or I was on team calls, but I really didn't get that whole personal development side of it. I was yeah, I can learn this business and I can do 30 minutes a day of personal development, but I wasn't making myself any better. And I think a lot of new coaches, they focus on this one side and they kind of do all the training and YouTube videos and team calls and national wake up calls, but they forget about the other stuff. And it's really easy to do that, but it's also really easy to incorporate it into your daily life. So what I started doing was on my way to work, I would listen to a podcast and that would give me something to post about once I got to work. So I would listen to a 10, 20-minute podcast on my way to work. And then I would have something motivational or inspirational or something that helped me. And I find the post that I make, some people are oh, you were totally speaking to me. And I'm no, I was speaking to myself. I make posts that I need to hear. What do I need to hear that day? Then that's what I post about, because I know that there's so many people on this journey that are going through similar things. And maybe they just needed that wake up call. And that's what I needed that day. So then that's what I share. And I find if you kind of make your personal development public, it really helps you and it helps a lot of other people as well. So make sure that you are at least listening to something or reading something that's going to help you. And so many people ask me what to read. And you can't really tell somebody what to do for personal development. What I have my coaches do when they ask me is I get them to just put on some music and light a candle and get a blank stack of paper and just start writing and just free form journal. And you will see all kinds of stuff that comes out. And from that, you can decide where you need to go with your personal development. But I did put this together for my coaches for after they're done that to kind of see what they need to work on. And I've kind of put some books in some categories for them so that they know, you can see when you just all your thoughts start coming out, you can be oh my God, I totally have no confidence and I need to work on that. So here are some things that you can start doing. So I can send this to Stephanie if you want. It's just a list of a whole bunch of them. So I try to get my coaches to read at least 10 pages a day or listen to 30 minutes at least every single day to help them. This is a book I actually just finished reading. I don't know if you can see it. It's called Find Your Extraordinary, and it's by Jessica Heron, and it is awesome. She's all about like female entrepreneurs. She's the like founder of Stella and Dot. So super, super awesome book. It's all about like pretty much how to be a female entrepreneur and rock your business. So if you haven't read that one, I really like that one. So personal development, it is huge. And I think like here I kind of touched on it, like events and stuff like that. Events are huge for personal development. I think like reading like a Tony Robbins book or reading GoPro, it's like reading a cooking book. But if you go to GoPro and you hear Eric speak and you hear Tony Robbins speak and you like immerse yourself in a like 3-day event, it's like actually doing a cooking class and learning the recipes and actually hands-on, and you can implement it so much more. So I think that like reading and listening is so great to get you started and it gives you the basics, but getting out to events like multiplies it like crazy. So like Summit is going to be like a national wake-up call on steroids. Like it's going to be crazy. You're going to be with like 24,000 other coaches who love health, fitness, positivity, helping each other, and you're going to be like surrounded by them, and it's going to be absolutely incredible. And you like actually get to like see the trainers and you get to be a part of it, and I think it's just going to be great. So events are huge, huge. Get out to your events, all of them, Super Saturdays, everything. Okay, recognition. How am I doing for time? I'm trying to go faster, Steph. Recognition. Everybody loves a shout out. And even if people say they don't really like a shout out, they do. They might not want a public like post about it, but sending them a letter or sending them a cute little card or a little team t-shirt or just a little note or just a message, a voice message on Facebook, like that means so much to people. So I like to do recognition for my coaches all the time. We recognize pretty much everything. I'll do posts about team calls that we have. I do posts about top coaches. I do posts about like success starters, people who earn tickets to Summit, our team cup team. And I do recognition for my challengers as well. Sometimes I'll do it publicly, and I do a lot of private recognition with my challengers. I message them one-on-one. I just let them know how they're doing and see if I can help them with anything. And I try to highlight a challenger like in my challenge group. Like sometimes, you know, you get that message that someone's like, oh my God, I lost 8 pounds, and they're so excited, but they never post in the group. I will see if it's okay with them first, but then I will share their journey in our challenge group to inspire everybody else. Because there's so many people that you get in your group that like kind of sometimes they don't really post, but you know they're reading all their posts every day and you are chatting with them, so you know they're doing the program. But sometimes just them hearing that silent voice in their group, it inspires so many other people, and then they come out of the woodwork and they support each other and they congratulate each other, and then they start sharing their successes as well. So I think recognition is so huge. I mean, everybody loves to hear that they're doing a good job and to get a pat on the back and just a little bit of recognition. Consistency. This is so important. It's like your workouts and your business. You can't do it every other day. You can't do it every third day. You have to show up every single day. Even when you don't want to, you still have to show up. I think that you make the biggest strides in your business when you show up on the days that you don't want to. I honestly think that those are the days that really, really make the difference, because you reached out to just one more person that you wouldn't have, and maybe that's that person that really needs your help to change their life. And I think that just showing up on those days, even when you don't feel like it, is a true like testament of what being a coach is and being there for people, because people quit on themselves, so you can't quit on them. So being consistent is so important with your workouts, with your Shakeology, like your meal planning, everything. Just show up every day. I can't stress that enough. Like, you can't expect this business to pay you like $1 million business if you treat it like I don't know, like a minimum wage job. It's just not going to work. You need the work ethic and the consistency to get the results that you want. It's like your workouts. If you don't show up every day, you're not going to get the results. Same with your business. Number 7 is to stop comparing. When we were on the cruise, And on the Success Club trip last year, they always do this like top 10 panel. And I love it because they all get asked their own questions. But I think that it's so amazing to see how different every single one of those 10 women are. Yes, they all love health and fitness and helping people, and they like to work out, and they have this like similar thing, but they are all so, so different. I mean, you see top coach Melanie Mitro, who's a mom, beside Lindsay Matway, who is like a living, walking Barbie doll, next to Amy Silverman, who is like so chill, down to earth. Like they're so different. And you would never see Melanie Mitro trying to post and connect with Amy Silverman's like niche market. And Bonnie's group is never going to connect with like Melanie Mitro's group. They all have their own thing, but they're still very similar. And I love that success leaves clues. So one of the things that I did when I was a new coach was I went and I looked up the top 10 coaches. And I found 3 or 4 that I kind of like connected with. And I know they say, you know, like follow top coaches and see what they're doing, but I didn't want to do what they were doing right now because I was a new coach and I was like, there's no way I'm going to post like a top 10 coach. I'm never going to get like 40 comments on one of my posts. So I went back and I scrolled back like the 2 or 3 years to when they started. And I started to look at how they posted when they first started. And it's amazing to see posts from Lindsay Matway and Melanie Mitro and these top 10 coaches where they have 1 like and 1 comment, and to see how they developed and how they grew and how their posts changed. And I knew that it was okay for me to start there and I could make posts similar to that. I mean, you don't copy it, you put it in your own words and you put your own spin on it. But I just found it was way easier for me to follow them from where they started than to try and follow them from where they were at. Because they are like in a different part of their journey than you are as a new coach. So I think going back and following those clues that they leave behind, like you can spot like an amazing post on their wall from 3 years ago, and then you can use that and make it your own, and then you can use that now. So that's what I did when I first started while I was trying to find my voice and figure out what the heck I was doing with this coaching thing. Success definitely leaves clues, but don't copy them. Like use them as examples and inspirations to make your own. Be coachable. So I think sometimes people, they feel like they can go through new coach training and they're like, yeah, I got this. That's all I need to know. And this is like not that kind of business. Like you need to constantly be learning new things. You need to be able to listen to your coach, to get advice, to learn and to grow. And then you need to put those things into action. I know I have coaches on my team that are information like hordes, and they will listen to National Wake Up Call and they will take like 3 pages of notes, or they'll be in a team call and they'll take like all these notes. And then I'm like, well, what did you do with it? And they're like, nothing. I'm like, so it's just sitting in your little binder, all these notes. You're not doing anything with it. So the big thing is you need to be coachable, and you need to take all these like little pieces of information that you get from people and actually put them into action and use them and help your business to grow. Because otherwise it's just like sitting in a binder sitting there, and that doesn't help anybody. It doesn't help you, it doesn't help your challengers, and it certainly doesn't help your business. Other than you've learned something new, which is great, but you're not going to see any results from that unless you actually action those items. Number 9, I'm almost done, guys. Belief. You need to believe in yourself. And this is like more than just coaching. Like you need to believe in yourself 110%. You need to be your own biggest fan. You can't look to other people to cheer you on and to support you. You need to like believe in yourself even when it's totally crazy. Like I knew last year that I was going to be an elite coach. I was an emerald coach, but I believed 110% that I would be an elite coach at the end of the year. And I just told myself every day, like, I'm an amazing coach. I deserve it. I got this. I'm made for greatness. I'm strong enough. I'm smart enough. I am enough. I'm a top coach. And I just like think less, do more. And that belief is what got me there. Your mindset is everything. If you tell yourself that you're not going to hit Success Club, that it's hard to hit Success Club, that you can't find people to join your challenge groups, you aren't going to find anybody to join you. But if you are like, I run awesome challenge groups, My challenge groups are the greatest. Anybody who doesn't want to join my group, they don't know what they're missing. Like if you have that mentality, people will feel that from you. And they're like, when I talk to people, I'm like, I can't wait for you to join our group. You are going to have an amazing time. You're going to change your life. And they're like, yeah, I want to be part of that. So it all comes from your belief and how you talk to people. And that's going to come from personal development. And you totally got to fake it till you make it. Like put like little Post-it notes up all over your house so that that's what you see. I totally believe that what your eyes see and your brain perceives, and even hearing you say it, more than like just seeing it, hearing yourself speak it, it like I don't know, tricks your brain into like believing it more. So speak it out loud to yourself. This is sort of how I feel like belief and you're like, it all kind of goes in a circle. The belief that you have in yourself. So let's say like we're talking Success Club. And I'm like, I'm going to hit Success Club 20 this month. And I believe 1000% that I'm going to do it. So I see the potential that I can do it because I believe that it's going to be possible. So I take massive action to make that happen. And because of all that action I put in, I get the results. And that results, I'm like, yeah, I hit Success Club 10 or the first of the week or the first week of the month. That reignites that belief and I see more potential. So I put more action in and I get more results. So it kind of goes around like that. But if you don't believe that you can hit Success Club, you don't see the potential, you put no action in and you get no results, which is like, yeah, see, I told you I can't do it. So your belief is like so important because if you don't have that belief, then you're not going to like start that wheel going and it's going to be really hard to get that momentum. So just keep building up that belief, keep working on that personal development so that you can build that momentum so that it gets easier for you to do it every single month. And you need to duplicate what you're doing. Okay, duplicating is kind of like once you start to have a team. So once you're like an emerald coach with some business builders or a diamond coach and you're starting to grow a team, you need to create some systems that are easily duplicatable for your team. Because it's one thing for you to be able to do something, but if you don't have a team that can do the same thing, you kind of get stuck at diamond and you can't grow beyond that. So you need to create some systems on how you're inviting people, how you're following up with people, how do you run your challenge groups, how do you run your sneak peeks, and how do you run your training. So for me, I give my team all my scripts for everything. I use Evernote for my challenge groups. I don't know if you guys use Evernote. It's like the greatest thing ever. You can have your entire challenge group and then I can email the whole thing. All my posts from prep week all the way through day 21. It's got the images, it's got the text, it's all in there. I can just email it to them and their Evernote and then they can use either Hootsuite to post it in their challenge groups or they can manually post it every day. But I try to make something that's easy for them that they can just totally duplicate. Same with the sneak peeks and my coach training. I try to teach them simple ways to do things so that they can watch like a 5-minute video and then just put it into action. I try to keep my videos short so that they're not like listening forever and then they kind of lose track of what's happening. And then, okay, so this is the last one. So what now? What program are you going to commit 100% to? So we have like 53 days until summit. So you could complete, well, almost hammer and chisel. You could do 21-day fix, or you could do, hey buddy. Yeah, you could do 22-minute hardcore. You've got time to commit to a program. And how many people are you going to connect with every single day? Like, are you committing to talking to 5 people, 10 people, 20 people every single day? What are you going to listen to for your personal development? How many posts are you going to do every single day? 2 posts, 3 posts is like the minimum. Like 4 or 5 is going to help you build momentum with people. They're going to see your posts in the newsfeed more. You're going to be like kind of like the Kardashians, like in people's face all the time. So when they think of health and fitness, they think of you. And then what top coaches are you going to follow and look for clues? When is your next challenge group date? When are you starting it? And how many people are you going to be helping in that group? And that's all I have for you guys. So thank you. Okay, I don't know how to stop this. Here we go. Stop. There we go. Okay, buddy. You want to say hi?
Yeah, hi.
Hey. Okay, it's time for bed, okay? I'll come see you, okay?
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jen. I want to see if any, before I kind of give comments, but that was really awesome. I know I took a ton of notes. I have a whole notebook here with just notes that I was taking from your call. So I hope you guys were taking notes and not just passively listening and just kind of, because I guarantee you later on you're going to forget like lesson, number 7, number 8, and number 9, and you're going to be like, what did she say? And so I always try to take notes, active listening, active learning. So anyone have any questions for Jen? Again, any questions at all? I don't see anything in the chat, but I'm not sure if anyone has any questions or if you come up with any questions. But I know I usually like to start, I like to ask kind of whenever we have guest speakers, Jen, what, and this is off topic of what you've discussed, but what do you feel has been the biggest obstacle for you that you've kind of had to overcome, or that you've kind of realized, especially in your past kind of year and a half of true, going hard coaching? What is an obstacle that kind of comes to mind? Because there's ups and downs to this business. And so, what is something that comes to mind when I ask you that?
2 things. Time is huge. When I was working, it was really hard to make time. And I would try to find nooks and crannies to fit things in. I would get up at like 5 o'clock. I would stay up. Like, there was a month Team Cup last February, like 2014. I was staying up until like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And I was getting up at 5. But I worked my butt off. We came in 3rd in Team Cup. So, I mean, it depends on how bad you want it and how you're working for things. I wouldn't suggest doing that long term. But time was for sure one. And then I think a big one for me is people who don't want it and all the energy and effort you put into them. I've had diamonds quit. Like, I've had people drop off. And I think that's really hard. That's something hard to overcome, to think that it wasn't something personal. And it was a lot of personal development for me to realize that it's not me, that it's them, just stuff going on in their life, that they're not ready, and that they'll come back when they're later, or maybe this just isn't really for them. So I think having like people that you invested time and energy and you see such potential in, and have them just like drop off, that's like hard.
I think I agree with you. I think especially and I think it's almost like you can't fall in love with someone else's potential for them, and I think that's hard for a lot of, and I think every coach has to experience that. And there's, as much as we would love to protect our coaches from that kind of, it is like, you just feel you do feel upset. You do feel hurt when that happens, because it's happened to some of us on this call right now, including yourself and myself. And it's happened to other people who are going to be listening to this call. And that's why your belief, like Jen is saying, and that's why it's such a top 10 tip, and something I talk about when I talk on other team calls, is that belief in your vision, in your business, and what what you want to accomplish. Because not everyone's going to be on that, if you've read The Energy Bus, not everyone's going to be on your bus, and not everyone's going to want to, have the same success, and they don't have that mindset to reach that. But you're going to, and that's where for all of you guys who are on this call, you have to, through personal development, through your, like, I love that Jen, the first thing she talked about is committing to a program. I mean, if you look at her 22-minute hardcore results, they're freaking amazing. And it's like, and she committed to her program. And and now, myself, I just finished the Ultimate Reset. And I had so much interest just from that it reminded me, guys, I had not committed to a program like that since my first program almost 3 years ago. Okay. And just to commit to that, to see that, and to see how people were just so naturally interested because I was documenting my journey, and it gave me, like Jen was saying, a lot of content. And so, knowing that, it's just so incredibly important that you're doing those things. Let's see. Allison says, how many people do you invite to challenge groups and coaching per day?
I would say on a daily basis, 10 to 20 every single day. It's a lot of follow-ups though. Like, I add probably 10 new people every day, but a lot of it's like follow-ups.
I would ask you also to just piggyback off that question. What do you use for your system for following up? Like, do you have, you're obvious, I would think that you're kind of tracking this somehow so that
My phone.
Your phone.
I just use my phone. I put them in my calendar on my phone, and then I just check every day who's in that day, and then I know who I'm supposed to follow up with. That's why I try really hard to get a date out of them. Like, and then when I follow up, then I don't feel weird, because I'm like, you kind of knew it was coming. like I said, okay, I'll touch base with you in 2 weeks. So then when 2 weeks comes around, I'm like, hey, it's me, hi.
And, you know, it's interesting, Jen, because I actually, you know, like, because like, as you know, we've been, you know, we're kind of the veteran coaches now, 2-3 years in, and that system, I've seen a lot of coaches use that system as well, you know, and just kind of, like you said, the calendar system, whether it's like on a calendar or whether it's on your phone. I've seen people, you know, this is, you know, Tony's calendar, but I've seen people take a calendar like this and like just kind of put names in the future of where they're going to be following up with them. So so they'll take a calendar like this and they'll say, okay, I spoke to this person today, you know, 1 week from now or 2 weeks from now, I'm going to go to that page, you know, put their names there and underneath that day. And I've seen coaches do it that way as well. But the key that you can see is that she has some sort of system to know who she needs to follow up with. And she, you know, and she follows up with them, because I say it all the time, like Jen, 90% of my sales come all from follow-ups. It comes all in the follow-ups. And it's never the first encounter. Every first, you know, it's like, I think they only say like 1 to 2% of people actually purchase on the first encounter. And like 80% of people, you know, purchase on the 11th or 12th encounter. And so that, you know, keeping that in mind, think of how many of you guys get really discouraged after the second no, or like the follow-up or the third, you know, you have to have that tough skin and realize this is part of our business. And it's in those follow-ups that you need to be really, is where you're going to find a lot of your success. Let's see. Jen from Shondell, thanks, Jen. That was so awesome. I took a ton of notes. I'm wondering, how do you run your challenge groups continuously or new ones every month? Also, do you get more coaches from challenge groups or from other connections?
I run the exact same challenge group every single month. So I run a prep week and then a 21 days. And then I've got like a Jenn's Challenger group that they kind of like graduate to. But something that I've recently started doing that is, I think, actually really helpful. I mean, throughout the challenge group, I give hints about coaching. I talk about the discount. I reach out to them in week 1, 2, and 3 of the challenge group about it. But then at the end, I let them know when my next challenge group is, and I invite them to join with 2 or 3 of their friends. And then they become discount coaches and they invite 2 or 3 of their friends, and then they do the challenge group with me. And then they've kind of got all their content, and then they go and they run their own challenge groups. So I think that's been super helpful for finding new coaches, especially people like that would be kind of like discount coaches, but then they're like, oh, I have 3 friends and I just paid for my challenge pack. And then they hit success starters their first month, and then they kind of like get more excited, and then they kind of go from there.
Awesome. And do you have like the same content every single month? Because I know you said you have your,
Yes, exact same, copy paste.
So I'm glad you said that, because I think that's super important for a lot of coaches to hear that, guys, it's the consistency of running the group every single month, no matter what. And you do not need to overcomplicate it by feeling like you need to come up with new content for every single day. You just heard it from someone whose Success Club, 22 months in a row, hit Success Club 80 last month. Like, you hear it. You do not need to overcomplicate it. You just need those posts. And I have posts. I'm happy to, and I put them in the training page, and they're there. The posts are there for you. Do not feel like you need to reinvent everything, right? And I think that's also important, Jen, in terms of like top 10 tips, is like, don't feel like you need to reinvent the wheel. It's like, take what take what's given to you and just kind of tweak it to your opinion, but don't feel, because I used to feel like that. I used to feel like, oh, there's like all these coach training videos. I need to recreate every single one. And I learned that from from someone in my upline, like, no, you don't need to. Like, there are people who just really get the message across better. But, she's telling you, you do not need to recreate the content, new content, fresh content every single month. It's, you're there to help them. But the key is that she's offering, she's telling them to invite friends. She's staying consistent with that behavior. So that's really important.
Yeah, just on that, I did that for a whole year, and then probably like 4 or 5 months ago, I was like, I'm kind of getting bored of my group. I'm like, maybe I should change it. And then my coach was like, why would you change it? It works. It's not new. It's not boring to them. Every time you put new people in, it's new for them. It's just boring for you because you've done the same thing over and over. So he's like, don't change it. Just like keep it the same. He's like, if you want to like tweak it here and there, but he's like, why would you change like something that's working? So I was like, oh, okay, good. I don't have to recreate a whole new thing. I honestly, I keep it the same. And even the people that have gone through 2 or 3 times, like no one's ever said, oh man, your group's boring. Like no one's ever said that to me. So I don't worry about it. And then my main group, I don't post anything in there. I just let them take over. I've got some discount coaches that like post continuously in there, but I just post like, hey, like there's stuff coming up. There's a Super Saturday or there's whatever. Sometimes I'll go live in there, but I don't do a whole lot. They kind of know to reach out to me if they want to jump in for some more support.
And I mean, and I think that's super key. That's kind of where I'm kind of heading. And it's like kind of telling you guys, and like, I'm the same way like Jen, where before I was running challenge groups, but now I'm kind of going back to that same method of basically what Jen's doing, which is running a 30-day challenge group. And then it's going to be probably the same content like she did. And then my main group, I'm just going to have it be there and have whoever wants to participate, they can participate, let it run itself. And that's kind of the system that I also will be following. So just kind of going back to the challenge groups and I think it's important, like challenge groups are really the backbone of our business. And that is honestly, and I know that a lot of people come in and they want to grow really fast. And I'm not saying not to want to grow really fast, but also understanding that when you build really fast, you got to be very careful, because if you build really fast and you only have a really shaky, shaky business of discount coaches, that's not good either. That's not going to, it'll maybe get you to diamond really fast, but then it's going to quickly crumble. And that's coming from experience. That's coming from watching people with experience. And again, I'm not against discount coaches, but I know over time, I've kind of seen the benefit of bringing people on as challengers first, helping them get results, helping them have success, and helping them believe in our products, and then approaching them, after the fact, after they've gotten some results, after, really making my challenge group my main effort, that 30-day where I'm saying, yes, I want to help you genuinely. And you can bring people on as discount coaches, but realize that someone coming in as a discount coach, you can't approach them the same way with the training as someone who has already results, and then it's going to be different. You need to help a discount coach first believe in the product, and that's by treating them in those first 30 days as a challenger. And so it's a little bit delayed. But someone was asking, do you sign up your challengers all as discount coaches, Jen?
No, they're challengers, and then they become discount coaches.
Yeah. And I think, and I think that's important, guys, to understand. It's like, I think about Melly Mitro, and I think about, I remember when I first started and I heard Success Club 200, on the national wake up call. And it was all, knowing from people in her downline, knowing that she considers herself to be a horrible recruiter. She considers herself to be someone who's not good at recruiting itself, but she runs kick-ass challenge groups, and she helps people get results. And if you have 100 people bringing in, 50 to 100 people every single month into a challenge group, that funnel, you're gonna, at the end, at the bottom of that funnel, you're gonna get some better quality coaches than if you just went straight for coaches. And, and just keeping that, yes, it takes longer, but just keeping that in mind. And honestly, and I speak to this from experience, because I built all last year on discount coaches. I'll be honest. I built all last year. Everyone last year came on as discount coaches, and I don't feel like I saw the same growth as I would have wanted if I would have just slowed down a little bit and just really helped people get results. And I feel like I did. It's a mistake that I look back on, saying I genuinely did want to help them get results, but because I push the coaching opportunity when really genuinely all they wanted to do was be a challenger, but I had them sign up as a discount coach, I did them a disservice in that. So that's kind of reflecting back. Obviously, I'm not sitting here saying, woe is me. It's a learning process, right? It's you get back up, you say, what can I do better? And that's why this year I'm focusing more on bringing people in as challengers, even if it means I'm not, bringing in as many coaches as I would like, but at least I feel like if I do that, the coaches that I will get will be better, who will be they'll want to genuinely build because they believe in the product, than the opposite. Let's see. Is your challenge group paid challengers only?
Yeah.
I guess I guess she's probably asking, do you add anyone who, they're paid challengers only. You don't run you don't allow people who haven't bought anything in them, right?
Sometimes I'll let them slip if they like bought a challenge pack, whatever, and their coach quit and they like give me a big story, then I'm like, okay, I'll help you. But for the most part, they buy challenge packs and they're in there. Yeah. Do I do free clean eating groups? I used to. I haven't run one in a long time. Only because the last time I did one, it totally blew up and I had like over 100 people in it and I just did a bad job. Like I couldn't keep up with everybody and I would limit it down to less people next time.
And I think,
I think they're good ideas. I didn't have time to do one.
I think they're good too for newer coaches who still have that, they're still in that growing phase. You do reach a point where obviously we've had a guest speaker who still runs them as an elite coach and it's really inspiring and it's very motivating, but the majority of coaches do not, because it's just so, like Jen was saying, it's just too much to keep. Like if you genuinely, it's about really, right guys, adding value to people and really helping them get results. If you have 100 to 200 people in a free group and they are demanding your attention, you got to talk to them. It's just going to be too much. And on top of that, you're trying to hit your Success Club numbers. And on top of that, you're trying to talk to people about sneak peeks. And so realizing that it's if you're a younger coach and you're kind of still, when I say younger, even just in terms of if you have a smaller team or it's just still just you, yes, they're still good to do because that's helping you grow your network. But as you become, for my coaches on here who are Diamond or, Ruby or who, feeling, you don't necessarily always have to feel like you need to be running them, but they are good. They're a great way to really grow your network and to really help add value. If you're looking at that way, right? You're remembering not treating people as numbers and treating people as people, right? And really, really wanting to help them get those results.
I think for me at this point, I think if I run like a free group, like I've lost a lot of people that would pay for a challenge group, but they're like, oh, it's free, I'll just do that. So that's kind of why I don't do them anymore. But I did when I started, and it did help me like add lots of people to your network, because you can run an ad for like a free group, but you can have like 100 people sign up like in no time. How many of those people could actually convert to a challenge pack after? I don't know, maybe 20%. I don't know. Right.
It says, if someone is not buying anymore, should I let them in the group? I guess, Carla, are you referring to like if they're not buying Shakeology anymore? So do you, I guess, yeah. So Jen, once they buy a challenge pack from you, are they considered because there's some coaches who won't let people in unless they're buying a Shakeology from them every single month. Is that how you run it, or?
Well, they all buy a challenge pack to get into my challenge group, but then if they don't keep doing it, they're still in my main group and I don't like kick them out of there. I've never kicked anybody out.
So you would so if someone, let's say they buy Shakeology, they bought a challenge pack this month, they got into your challenge group now in June, let's say in July they don't buy Shakeology, would you allow them into your July challenge group, your specific one?
No. They would have to order their Shakeology to get back into the group.
Okay.
But they can be in my like ongoing group forever, and I don't care if they order Shakeology. But if they want daily support from me, then yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I just find that people that don't commit like 100%, like if they don't commit to the whole program, they don't get the same results. I don't know if it's because they're like, oh my God, I spent $180, like this better work. And they like put more effort into it as to someone who like borrows it from their friends and doesn't see the value in it. I just find that people who buy the challenge pack, they're ready to commit. And I don't force people to join them. I don't beg people to join. If I get any sort of objections, I'm like, okay, no problem. Like, I'm not twisting anybody's arm to be in my group. So I think the people that are in the group are actually ready. And if they're not ready, I just say, come back when you are. And then they come back like 6 or 8 months later when they're ready to commit to it. I want challengers that are going to see it through to get the results. I don't want like people that are going to waver and drop off a weekend.
And it's like, you said Evernote, so you use Evernote. Someone was asking, so you use Evernote, and
I use Evernote. I think it's the greatest thing ever.
Yeah. Evernote, I mean, I know a lot of coaches who, I personally don't use Evernote a lot, but I know Luke likes Evernote, and some other coaches that I really respect also really like using Evernote. But I think, obviously is finding whatever system works best for you. To, some people use Google Docs to, to kind of create folders and kind of be able to transfer that information to their coaches. And then obviously I think she was also, because someone said, what was the other thing you talked about? You were talking about like Hootsuite and being able to.
Oh, that stuff's good too.
Do you plan your posts, or are you more kind of as you kind of posting as you are?
So, for my personal page, I don't schedule anything. Mm-hmm. But my challenge groups, when I was working and I was getting up at 5, it was okay. I posted in all my challenge groups at 5 o'clock in the morning when I got up. And then kind of once I went full time and I felt I didn't have to wake up at 5 o'clock every day, when I would wake up at like 6:30 or 7, I would have like anxiety for my groups that I'm like, they're expecting a post at 5 and now it's 7 and I haven't posted. So I was having like anxiety about it, and I don't like waking up feeling stressed out. So since I've gone full time, I've started scheduling my my challenge groups. So it posts at 5:30 every single morning, whether I sleep in until 7 or I get up at 5. At least I know that's taken care of, and I don't like have this like massive panic attack as soon as I open my eyes in the morning. So I never did it while I was working, but that's because I was already up. But yeah, now that I sleep in a little bit, and 7 o'clock is like not sleeping in, but it totally is for me. So Hootsuite saved my life for that.
Awesome. And I'm assuming you still run you're running your challenge groups on Facebook, or are you have you tried the new challenge tracker?
I still use Facebook.
It's hard. It's a hard transition. I feel you. It's a hard transition into the challenge tracker.
For me, my personal opinion is I'm trying to train coaches in my challenge group. So I want them to learn to be posting on Facebook, to doing a sweaty selfie, posting their meals, posting motivational things in our challenge groups. If I take them out of that and try to teach them some other thing to come back to Facebook and try to teach them to post again, I'm like, why would I take them out of that like environment? Mm-hmm. That's just my thinking.
Absolutely. And any advice on getting challengers to communicate with you and other challengers during the challenge? And then I would also add to that, any tips on engagement within your challenge group?
Some people just don't want to do it. So something that I do with my challengers, like even today, she was like, do I have to post pictures? I don't want to post pictures. I'm like, take a picture of your shoe, take a picture of your food, take a picture of your weights. I'm like, I don't care what you take a picture of, but post something in the group. And she's like, oh, I don't have to post a picture of me? I'm like, well, it should be your shoe. It should be like, like you, but it doesn't necessarily have to be your face, but just post something to engage in the group. And I think giving them that kind of out, that they don't have to like figure out how to take selfies, that makes them feel a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more safe, and they get kind of started, and then they do come around a little bit more. And then trying to like ask a question or have an assignment every day. I try to have that in my group so that it's at least something. Like we do, like the second Friday is, what are you eating? So it's like posting their meals all day long. Or then we'll do like water tag, or we'll do share your why, or something about your body that you love. Or, oh geez, we do all kinds of things. It's like something every single day. Share your workout space. People like that. And you just share like their like picture of their living room. Yeah. Something to engage them with so that they have a reason to post something. And then I do points. I do points for posts. I talked about that on the National Wake Up Call 2 weeks ago, I guess. I do points for sweaty selfies, for food, for Shakeology, for motivational quotes, and then I give a fixed date cookbook out at the end.
And I would definitely piggyback off of that. And that's where, like, for those of us who have been resistant to the challenge tracker, which I know, it is nice in the challenge tracker for those who want to try it, that you can see who's participating more. In a much more kind of nice, like streamlined way. You can see who's posting their Shakeology, but I agree and kind of like Jen's saying, that clearly she knows. And so just the idea of points is really important. And obviously incentivizing is also really good. So she gives away a cookbook. I know for this, and it could be just the cookbook. It's, less than $15 for the 21 Day Fix cookbook, or maybe it's a Target, gift card, whether it's like a $20. I know Mandy, who's on the call, but Mandy gives away a lot of like $25 gift cards, just for a participant who participates a lot throughout the month. And so just kind of keeping that, I know myself, I have a bunch of 3-day refresh. So I'm just going to give away one of those because I had ordered a bunch in the past. And so I have like 6 of them sitting in my closet. So, to try to keep myself active and whatnot. So just kind of, I'm going to give that away. And I'm doing the point system as well. And so, finding a way that's incentivizing them and that's what I've seen to be really helpful from all the people that I've talked to about challenge groups, that really kind of that point system seems to work really well. So
Speaking of the 3-day refresh, have you guys seen the new maintenance guide that comes in it? It's awesome. They have a maintenance guide now, so you can maintain your results past your 3 days. It's super cool.
That must be in the newer kits because I have some older kits, so I have not. So you'll get to see it. I haven't seen it, so
it's cool. I like it.
Awesome. Well, any other questions, guys? Jen, thank you, so much,
You're welcome.
for coming on.
I gotta put my kids to bed.
Yeah. And I'm looking forward to hearing you at Summit. There's many of us going, so we'll definitely be spending.
I can't wait to meet you guys.
Lots of calming vibes to you, as I'm sure.
Oh my goodness.
Standing right.
I'm gonna be a wreck.
No, you'll be fine.
Thank you so much for having me.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much, Jen. I'll post a recording, and everyone have an awesome week. Bye.
See you.